Hello, New York Yankees fans. We have brand new exclusive videos and the latest news for you. Before we get started, we'd like to invite you to join our channel and give this video a like. It's crucial to get exclusive access to the latest updates. The rumors started to circulate quietly in the corridors of the clubhouse, the kind of whisper that usually dies before reaching the cameras, but this time it refused to fade. According to people close to the situation, Aaron Boone, a manager known for his calm public demeanor and firm internal standards, may have finally drawn a line that even a superstar could not cross. The talk is that Boone felt compelled to act after what was perceived as a breach of discipline, something that challenged the culture he has tried to build. In this speculative narrative, the shock was not only about the decision itself, but about the name involved. Aaron Judge, the face of the franchise, the towering outfielder admired by fans and respected by opponents, suddenly found himself at the center of an internal storm. Those close to the team suggest that Boone's move was not emotional, but symbolic, meant to send a message that no individual is above the rules, no matter how iconic. The tension reportedly built up over time, with small signs of frustration, delayed reactions, and a sense that boundaries were being tested. In a sport where routine and respect are sacred, even subtle deviations can feel enormous. Boone, carrying years of experience both as a player and a leader, allegedly chose to act decisively, knowing the media backlash would be loud, but believing the long-term stability of the locker room mattered more than short-term comfort. Inside the clubhouse, the atmosphere was said to be heavy, almost suffocating, as teammates tried to process what was unfolding. Speculation suggests that Judge's absence from his usual role was not about performance, health, or strategy, but about accountability. Boone has long preached that standards apply equally, whether you are a rookie fighting for space or a franchise cornerstone whose jersey fills the stands. This rumor paints a picture of a private conversation that grew intense, not hostile, but firm, where Boone reportedly emphasized professionalism, punctuality, and respect for the collective. Judge, known publicly as composed and team-oriented, may have been caught off guard by the severity of the response. The story floating around is not one of rebellion, but of misalignment, a moment where expectations clashed. Teammates allegedly reacted with a mix of surprise and quiet approval, understanding that leadership sometimes demands uncomfortable choices. For Boone, whose career has spanned decades of baseball evolution, discipline is not punishment but structure. In this speculative account, the benching served as a reminder that the logo on the jersey outweighs the name on the back. Fans, hearing these whispers, were left to wonder whether this was a temporary lesson or the beginning of a deeper shift in how authority is exercised within the organization. What fuels this rumor even more is Boone's own history, a past filled with moments where pressure demanded clarity. As a former player, he experienced the delicate balance between star power and team harmony. Those who know him suggest he never forgot how quickly a clubhouse can fracture if leadership hesitates. The narrative being whispered suggests Boone saw echoes of old lessons resurfacing, pushing him to act before small issues became permanent scars. Judge, meanwhile, has always represented consistency and leadership by example, which is why this supposed disciplinary action feels so jarring. The speculation is that Boone wanted to protect that very image, forcing a reset before complacency could take root. Some insiders claim the move was also preventative, aimed at younger players who look to Judge as a model. If standards bend for one, they bend for all. Boone's alleged decision, then, was less about correction and more about preservation. It is said that the conversation between manager and player ended with mutual respect, even if emotions were high. No doors slammed, no voices raised publicly, just an understanding that trust sometimes requires tough love. In the world of baseball, where silence often speaks louder than words, this rumored action echoed through the organization. The fans' reaction, according to this speculative buzz, was divided yet deeply emotional. Some felt betrayed by the idea that their hero could be sidelined for something unrelated to performance, while others praised Boone for his courage. Sports radio chatter and social discussions reportedly exploded with theories, each more dramatic than the last. Was it a power move, a necessary correction, or simply a misunderstanding magnified by fame? The rumor mill thrives on ambiguity, and Boone's refusal to over-explain only added fuel. Judge's silence, too, became part of the story, interpreted by some as quiet acceptance and by others as restrained frustration. This lack of clarity allowed imagination to run wild. In this speculative telling, Boone's philosophy became the focal point, overshadowing the individual incident. He is portrayed as a manager who believes structure creates freedom, and that discipline, when applied evenly, strengthens trust. Whether this particular decision achieves that goal remains part of the mystery. What is certain in this narrative is that the moment forced everyone to reevaluate assumptions about hierarchy and privilege within a legendary franchise. Behind closed doors, the alleged aftermath was calm but reflective. Players are rumored to have engaged in honest conversations about expectations, communication, and accountability. Judge, in this version of events, reportedly listened more than he spoke, absorbing the message without public resistance. Boone, meanwhile, is said to have reinforced his commitment to transparency, making it clear that respect flows both ways. This rumor suggests the incident was not meant to humiliate, but to recalibrate. In a season filled with pressure, media scrutiny, and endless travel, even leaders can drift slightly off course. Boone's role, as painted by this speculation, is to pull everyone back into alignment. The decision to step away from Judge's usual role, even temporarily, symbolized that process. It reminded the entire roster that discipline is not about control, but about shared responsibility. The story emphasizes that Boone values long-term cohesion over short-term appeasement. Whether fans agree or not, the rumor frames him as a manager willing to risk popularity to defend principles. In baseball culture, that willingness often defines legacy more than wins or losses. As the whispers continue, the broader meaning of this rumored situation grows larger than any single player or manager. It becomes a reflection on leadership in modern sports, where stars hold immense influence and organizations struggle to maintain balance. Boone's alleged stand against indiscipline, even involving someone as respected as Judge, suggests a belief that culture must be actively protected. Judge's rumored response, calm and introspective, reinforces his image as a professional who understands the bigger picture. Together, this speculative narrative paints a complex, human story rather than a simple conflict. It is about expectations, communication, and the constant negotiation between individual greatness and collective discipline. Fans may never know the full truth, but the rumor itself has already sparked conversation about what it means to lead and to follow at the highest level. In the end, this story, whispered and reshaped with every retelling, reminds us that even legends are subject to the same rules, and that sometimes the strongest messages are delivered not through words, but through action. The second wave of speculation took on a more analytical tone, as observers began connecting dots and reading between lines. According to this evolving rumor, Aaron Boone's decision was not impulsive, but the culmination of internal evaluations that had been quietly happening for some time. People close to the dugout suggest Boone noticed subtle shifts in body language, responses to feedback, and engagement during team routines. None of these alone would justify a drastic move, but together they painted a picture that concerned a manager deeply invested in unity. In this telling, Judge was not singled out because of ego, but because of influence. When a leader deviates even slightly, the ripple effect can be enormous. Boone, shaped by years of experience across different clubhouses, allegedly recognized that reality and chose to intervene early. The rumor suggests that Boone framed the action as a pause, a moment to reset expectations rather than a punishment. This distinction matters greatly in the narrative because it highlights intent. Boone is portrayed not as authoritarian, but as deliberate, someone who believes structure allows talent to flourish. Judge's stature within the team, made the message unavoidable, and that, according to speculation, was precisely the point. The move forced everyone to pay attention. As this speculative story continued to circulate, former players and analysts reportedly began weighing in, not with facts, but with interpretations shaped by their own experiences. Many suggested that moments like this define the true relationship between a manager and his star. Boone's willingness to risk tension with Judge allegedly earned quiet respect from those who understand the fragile dynamics of elite teams. Judge, meanwhile, was rumored to have taken the situation personally but constructively, reflecting on his responsibilities beyond statistics and highlights. In this version of events, the conversation shifted from blame to growth. Boone is said to have emphasized that leadership is measured by consistency, not just performance. Judge's response, according to whispers, was thoughtful rather than defensive. This mutual respect is what kept the situation from escalating into open conflict. Instead, it remained an internal lesson with external curiosity. Fans, hungry for drama, speculated endlessly, but inside the organization, the focus reportedly remained on alignment and trust. This contrast between public noise and private resolution adds depth to the rumor, suggesting a maturity often hidden behind headlines. The narrative also explores Boone's personal journey, framing this rumored decision as part of his evolution as a leader. Early in his managerial career, he was sometimes perceived as too accommodating, too focused on harmony. Over time, experiences taught him that clarity can be kinder than avoidance. This speculative account suggests Boone reached a point where he felt confident enough to enforce standards without fear of backlash. Judge, representing the pinnacle of the roster, became the unlikely focal point of that philosophy. The rumor frames the incident as a test, not only for Judge, but for Boone himself. Could he uphold his principles when challenged by status and expectation? According to this story, he did, and that choice resonated quietly throughout the clubhouse. Younger players reportedly saw it as confirmation that accountability was real, not just a slogan. Veterans, on the other hand, recognized the courage it takes to make such a call. The moment, though brief, became symbolic, reinforcing the idea that respect is earned daily, not guaranteed by reputation. But before we continue, please remember to join our channel and give this video a like. Your support allows us to keep bringing you the latest news about the New York Yankees. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments. As discussions deepened, the speculative tone shifted toward long-term implications. Some believe this rumored action could strengthen the bond between Boone and Judge, creating a clearer understanding of roles and expectations. Others fear it might introduce subtle tension, an unspoken memory that lingers. The rumor does not present a definitive outcome, only possibilities shaped by human complexity. Judge's professionalism suggests he will respond with renewed focus, while Boone's consistency implies he will support that response fully. In this narrative, the incident becomes a turning point, a shared experience that redefines communication. The lack of public confrontation is emphasized as intentional, preserving dignity on both sides. Boone's choice to keep details internal allowed the message to remain about standards rather than spectacle. Judge's silence, equally deliberate, prevented escalation. Together, these choices shaped a story that feels less like scandal and more like a quiet lesson in leadership. Fans may crave dramatic quotes, but this rumor suggests the real impact happens away from microphones. The broader baseball world, according to this speculation, took note not because of shock, but because of recognition. Many organizations struggle with balancing star treatment and team rules. Boone's alleged stance resonated as a reminder that discipline, when applied fairly, can reinforce trust rather than destroy it. Judge's rumored acceptance reinforced his image as a leader willing to grow. This mutual understanding, if the rumor holds any truth, could strengthen the organization's internal culture. The story suggests that both men emerged with a clearer sense of purpose. Boone reaffirmed his authority without resorting to theatrics. Judge reaffirmed his commitment without public protest. In a sport often dominated by noise, this quiet resolution stands out. It suggests maturity, patience, and respect for the game's deeper values. Whether fans agree with the decision or not, the rumor frames it as a moment of alignment rather than division. That framing shifts the narrative from conflict to cohesion. In the end, this speculative tale is less about discipline and more about identity. It asks what kind of team this organization wants to be and what kind of leaders it values. Boone, through this rumored action, is portrayed as someone willing to protect culture even at personal cost. Judge, through his alleged response, is shown as someone capable of introspection and adaptation. Together, they represent different facets of leadership converging. The rumor leaves room for interpretation, acknowledging that truth in sports is often layered and complex. What remains clear is the message this story sends, regardless of its accuracy. Standards matter, communication matters, and respect must be renewed constantly. In that sense, the rumor itself becomes part of the team's mythology, a reminder that even the biggest names are part of something larger. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the New York Yankees, please subscribe to our channel and give us a like. We always appreciate your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.